So we're back up here talking with Jeff Van Remortel, WDH Guide Service, and today we're talking what I would say is the majority of muskie anglers' favorite time of year, September. It doesn't feel anything like it today, and it hasn't the last 2 days, but September is right around the corner. So Jeff, today let's start with location. Where are we going to find most of these muskies in September?
So right now we're at the very tail end of August and into September, at least in northern Wisconsin. You typically have one of two things going on. Either one, you're in a tremendous cooling trend, or two, you're still kind of stuck in summer as we are right now. When you get those water temps still hovering in the upper 70s, 75, 76, 78, a lot of times that can shut the fish down a little bit this time of year, or at least make the windows very tight. Right now, currently, we're coming off of the new moon, and we've had a spike in water temps. Up to that 77, 78 or so on a lot of lakes, and it's really made the windows very tight, and the fish have basically been wired shut. Last week was incredible fishing up here, and right now it's slowed down. So those warm-ups in fall anytime are usually, I wouldn't say they're quite the kiss of death, but they sure can be. They can sure make things a lot tougher. When that happens, you're looking to really focus on your moon windows and your morning and evening windows. Right now, I would not be surprised also to see a very good night bite in progress. As the cooling trend progresses and the water temps get back to the low 70s, that is, as you said, one of the more favorite times of people to be out, and there's a good reason for that. The big blade bite heats up. Actually, blades of just about all sizes. It really depends on the day. But the blade bite heats up. Glide baits come into play again. Top water bite can be fantastic. And really, you've got rubber suics. Everything basically gets bit that time of year, if I'm being honest. It depends on the day, depends on the lake, but the fish are eating, plain and simple, and that is why it is good. Right around that 69 to 72 range is when usually that peaks, and then from there on out, it depends on your weather and the variance from there. As you shift into that, if you get a big, heavy cooling trend, the worst thing, conversely to the heat, would be extended periods of extreme cool down and long extended periods of rain are when I find it to get the most tough. The real difficult time becomes with it comes with that once you've moved past about 6 or 7 degree water temp shift in any direction, whether it's all the way up or all the way down, that's usually about the end. One, you've had the fish eating for an extended period of time, usually on the chew for 2-3 days while that trend has been going on, and so you've got some full bellies, but also you're kind of whacking them out in terms of the change in their surroundings, right? You're throwing their metabolism off a little bit one way or the other, and they start to either shift off a structure or they sit tighter in with full bellies.
So obviously, if we have a nice slower cool down in September, this bite can last a lot longer than if we had one of those like sharp drop-offs.
I like to see it go a couple of ways. One in particular ways is the nice and steady, where you get like the cooling nights in the 40s, the temperatures in the 40s, maybe getting up to 60, 65 midday, and the crisp, cool, your early autumn feel to the mornings. That's definitely the days that tend to be the best. You can still have tight windows around moon and around maybe some weather arrival and stuff. That is kind of a classic fall thing as well. But at the end of the day, it's not necessarily the impending thunderstorms and the muggy, sticky heat that you look for in July and August, where those fish can really lose their mind and go on a feeding spree. And again, that's up here. A little further south, that type of weather, you're kind of already past that, right? You get to the water temperature being a little bit too up there, and that doesn't really help the case either.
Sure.
But definitely look for those periods of cool down. That upper 60, low 70 degree range is typically where you're really going to find the biggest periods of activity, or the best periods of activity, especially in a hot summer like this. You don't want any more of those warm-ups. On the cooling trend on the way down is definitely going to be some of your better action for sure.
So then, Jeff, let's talk baits. So you already talked about bucktails. I know the Marvin 88's been really good, the Stagger blades, double showgirls, all that stuff, amongst a handful of other bucktails that you can find during this time of year that are really great options, because typically the fishing is shallow. We're going to be talking shallow water for the majority of it.
Heavy cover, packed with bait, and you're trying to run bucktails over the top of it. On the days when they don't want to move as much, the little bit of a downsizer approach, and on days when they're putting on the feed bag, the bigger blades shine for sure.
So then we got to play around with this 11-inch whale tail by Whaletail Plastics. This is a brand new bait that we, we just got them in the other day. We stole them off the shelf. And what do you think about this thing? Is this going to be a good option for September?
I would agree. I think it's going to be a great bait. Yeah, it's got the right castability is pretty good. Doesn't fall up very well or very heavily. So castability is very, very much a factor. Very good. The hang time is great, and the action is phenomenal. I think that's definitely going to be. You could do a pull pause retrieve on that, as we've been doing today, and also I think a straight retrieve, even with little pops in there, similar to working a Poseidon or a swimming dog, which will also be great baits this time of year. And
then one other bait that we talk about, and we seem to talk about this bait every single season, is a suic.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
Can't go wrong, man. Fall and suics, it's go hand in hand, peas and carrots. That's a fall producer, always has been. Suics and bobbies too. Any of the pull pause stuff. SRJs come back into play. I've caught a few fish on those in summer, but early and late in the year are the times I really do well on them, like exceedingly well. And then don't overlook a glide bait bite too, right? I mean, I know we kind of said every musky bait that's out there, but really there are a lot of those windows that open up. I would definitely say when you've got the Suick glide bite or Suick glider SRJ thing going, and then you've also usually got a coinciding topwater bite or maybe bucktails as well, and then you get like the big blades slash a rubber bite. They kind of seem to go hand in hand at the same times. You know, those offerings are good at about the same times. You can, you throw multiple options, but you'll often see those things go hand in hand. And like in the periods where you get those, look for the more aggressive presentations around your moon weather arrival periods, and then backing it off to something that's a little less aggressive in your off period times.
So there you go. We got a few tips from Jeff Van Remorel, WDH Guide Service, helping you put a few more muskies in your net for September. Thanks again for watching.